Good morning, students. Today we'll study biotic or ecological succession. Ecological succession is a natural development of a series of biotic community at the same time, one after the other, till a climax community develops, which does not change further because it is in perfect harmony with the environment of the area. So succession is directional, non-seasonal, cumulative change in a type of plant species that occupies in a given area through time. It involves the process of colonization, establishment, and extinction which act on participating plant species. Most successions contain a number of stages that can be recognized by collection of species which dominate at a point in the succession. Unfavorable factors are mostly responsible for this succession, that is natural or biotic. Secondary succession mostly follows retrogression or regression, which is defined as a reversion to some earlier stage of succession consequent on the introduction of adverse factor. In the extreme cases, for example, fire, clearing, drought, sometimes entire vegetation may be destroyed. When the causes of retrogression are removed or the area from where the vegetation had been completely destroyed is left to itself, the nature starts its work again. That is, the vegetation starts progress. This progress is called secondary succession, which does not follow the same course as the primary succession. The colonizing species of a bare area in primary succession and secondary succession may sometimes be the same. Causes of succession. Initial causes. Primary succession. First, erosion. Wind or water erode the soil and deposit it somewhere and the vegetation changes. Second, physiography. The configuration of land surface helps the agents of erosion, that is wind, water or gravity, to create new soil, that is landslides may take place on the steep slope, destroying the forest. Coming to the secondary succession, climate. When the vegetation is destroyed by the action of drought, wind, snow, frost. Physiography. The configuration of land surface helps the agent of erosion, that is wind, water, gravity, to create new soils. For example, landslides. Then is the biotic factor. A forest is destroyed by the activity of man. His animals, wild animals, insect cause soil modification. For example, heavy grazing, cutting, burning. Continuing causes. Migration. Mass movement of plant from one place to another is called migration. It brings when gemmules, spores, seeds, fruits or plants leave the parent area and reaches the final resting place. Second is accesses or establishment. The whole process whereby the plant establishes itself in a new area from germination or its equivalent to reproduction, whether sexual or asexual. Then third is grouping or aggregation. The colonizers invade new areas gradually. The immigrants after establishment grow while more migration keep on taking place. Thus, in course of time, colonizers make a closed canopy. Result of aggregation is competition. Competition starts for food, light, moisture, space, which takes place among species and individual. Competition is especially more intense among the individual of same species. Reaction. The effect of vegetation on the site is known as reaction, which is grouped in two classes. Number one, effect on climatic factor. Vegetation affects climatic factor by altering the light condition, decreasing the air and soil temperature, reducing the wind velocity. Second is effect on soil. The vegetation affects the soil by Addition of organic matter, improving the structure, moisture retention, and nutrient status of the soil. So types of succession. Basically, the succession is of two types, primary and secondary. It is the primary succession is the establishment of plant on land that has not been previously vegetated. For example, Mount St. Helens. It begins with colonization and establishment of pioneer species. Second, secondary succession. It is the invasion of habitat by plants on land that are previously vegetated. Removal of past vegetation may be caused by natural or human disturbances such as fire, logging, cultivation, hurricanes. Then succession is of two types, that is allogenic and autogenic. Allogenic is it is caused by change in the environmental condition which in turn influences the composition of plant community. The deposition of silt may be causing the allogenic succession from salt marsh to woodland. Autogenic, it is a succession where both the plant community and environment change, and this change is caused by the activity of plants over the time. For example, Mount St. Helens after the last volcanic eruption. Stages of hydrosphere. First stage is known as plankton stage. The first biotic community which develops is known as pioneer community. The plankton stage is pioneer community. The germination of ancestral spores in the newly formed water body forms the pioneer community. Spores could have reached the water body through wind or animals. Planktons include minute autotrophic diatoms, phytoplankton, cyanobacteria. Population of planktons is regulated by zooplanktons. Their dead and decomposed organic matter mixes with silt and forms soft mud at the bottom of the pond. After the plankton stage, rooted submerged stage. Rooted submerged hydrophytes like Hydrilla, Vallisneria, Utricularia grow on the soft mud. Due to the death and decay of these plants, the deposition of sand and silt leads to slow rise in the bottom level, that is the soil layer of the pond. Buried old plants form good humus for next cereal stage. Next third stage comes as the rooted floating stage. Area is now invaded by species of floating leaved plants like Nymphia tropa, Monocoria, Nilambo, which helps the water become rich in mineral and organic matter. Later, free floating species like Azolla, Lamna, Pistia, Ishornia appear. This rapid growth of plant builds up pond bottom and makes the water shallower. Next is the reed swamp stage, also called amphibious stage. The plants like Typha, Sagittaria, Saccharipus replace the floating plants. These plants produce abundant amount of organic waste and lose huge amount of water by transpiration. Addition of organic matter raises the substratum of the pond and becomes unsuitable for growth of the amphibious plants. Next stage is the sedge meadow stage, also known as marsh meadow stage, where the area is now made up of plant species like Carex, that is sedge, Junux, Caltha, Polygonum. They form mat-like vegetation which is much branched rhizomatous system. Finally, the marshy vegetation disappears due to the development of mesic conditions. Then is the woodland stage. First, the peripheral part of the area is invaded by some shrubby plants which can tolerate bright sunlight and waterlogged condition. Plants that grow are cornus, that is bogwood. Then is bottom brush, that is Cephanthus. The next invade trees like populus, that is cottonwood, almus, that is elder. Further fall in the water table along with the mineralization and soil buildup favors the arrival of plants for the next cereal community. And the climax community is forest stage. It depends upon number of climatic conditions. For example, tropical deciduous or monsoon forests are formed in the region of moderate rainfall, tropical rainforest in the area where heavy rainfall is there, mixed forest in the temperate regions. Ecological succession is of great importance. It provides information which helps to have control on the growth rate of one or more species in a given geographical area. It helps in restoration and forest management programs. So, in this way, the hydrarch, it proceeds from phytoplanktons to submerged rooted plants, floating hydrophytes, reed swamp stage, marsh meadow stage, shrub stage, and forest stage. Thank you www.google.com for providing us pics so that we can explain our topic well. Thank you.